Shalom, when you showed up and met your friend Rabbi Bismail?
Well, we hugged. You know, the congregation had all, because they were in lockdown as well too. Whenever they received news of this happening, they locked down Rodef as well. And most of the people had gone from their services, but Rabbi Bismail was there just, you know, just saying goodbye to the other people that were there. But there was just a bond of friendship that he and I have that crosses over the lines of our faith differences, but it's a bond that says we're human beings together and we're both men of God and we need to be able to support each other, which we have.
Were members of his congregation there this morning as well, praying?
Well, during the time of the violence, yes, and he's just said that they heard the sirens going up Fifth Avenue, and they announced that there was a lockdown, and that there would be more information given to them once people knew what was happening.
What would you say to people that say that these things make them lose faith?
I would say this is an opportunity to grow in faith, you know, because it's only the power of God that can help us to think about where we are in life. This kind of action is not of God. And the fact of it is that this is an opportunity for us to come closer to God when instances like this happen. We've seen it happen over and over again. The problem is, within a couple of weeks after an event has happened, then people go back to their own ways. And I think we have to consistently keep on building on our strong relationships with each other and with God.
And Bishop Zubik, one more time, how did you find the news? Can you tell us again?
Sure. I was at, we had a conference today of Catholic women. There were about 1,000 women at the Hyatt Airport, near the airport, and I received the news right after I gave communion. I was having Mass with the women, and then that's how I announced to the women, and we spent about 10 minutes just in quiet prayer so that we could support all of our sisters and brothers here in Squirrel Hill and beyond who are suffering because of this.
Okay. How was the room when you were talking to the women?
Well, it was dead silence, and then you could hear there was weeping because, you know, our hearts have to be touched by this kind of violence.
Do you think that churches and Catholic churches will take a second look at security? And I mean, you don't want to necessarily have metal detectors outside churches, but what do you do then?
Well, I think these are the kinds of things we have to keep on building on, but we also have to put our efforts together to end this kind of violence and to see how do we challenge each other in our hearts to act differently.
I talked to a member of an Orthodox congregation here, and he didn't really want to talk on camera, but he said tomorrow is going to be a day for us to pray and to mourn. What is your prayer for them tomorrow as they get together in this community? So many different congregations here.
Well, my prayer for them, and it's a prayer for all of us, is that we ask God for the help to get us through this, but we also ask God to help us to really work for peace and to work for that integrity that recognizes the beauty in each person's face, no matter their creed, their gender, you know, their political affiliation, their ethnic background. We have to really be able to respect everybody profoundly.
Do you think you might meet with other religious leaders here in town at some point to talk about this as an issue not of just one faith, but of many faiths, and in terms of keeping these places safe?
Well, you know, one of the nice things about southwestern Pennsylvania, and especially Pittsburgh, is there's already that association. There's Christian associates where the leaders of all the Christian denominations come together. There's a Jewish priest dialogue that goes on between the Catholic Church and the Jewish people. And we continue to build on current issues and to see how it is. Absolutely. I think this is a major issue that we have to deal with. And I don't believe that the issue is more guns. It's a matter of taking a look at how we can do a legislation that will put restrictions on gun control for the safety of everybody.
And we don't know much about the suspect at this point. We have a name and an age. But if it happens to be that mental health is an issue, is there more to be done on the mental health front?
I think that there are a lot of statistics that show that a lot has to be done in that regard as well, too. But, you know, we reach these questions every time there's an act like this, but we really have to keep on pushing forward to make sure that we make good on our resolutions.
I don't know if you saw the press conference, but Safety Director Wendell Histrick was very emotional talking about the crime scene, talking about the response from first responders. As someone who has counseled law enforcement members after a tragedy like this, what can you talk about specifically?
Well, first of all, I just spoke to a couple of the policemen down the road and offered them my support, because I think the members of the law enforcement community oftentimes come under attack themselves just because they're members of law enforcement. And I think it's important for us to continue to give encouragement to these women and men who put their lives on the line every single day for our safety. And I think that that has to be an important part of the support system.
I know you said that this, looking at gun laws, that's something this is, an issue in that regard too, but I know that a little bit ago the president saying that shooting had little to do with gun laws. How would you respond to that, hearing that message?
Well, I think the president would have a different viewpoint on that. I think it is important that we've got to take a look at measures that get at the root of the problem, and rather than seeing guns as somehow being a band-aid that helps to maybe ease the situation. But I think we have to get at the root cause of the problem.